Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. This is the daily forecast for all signs. It is a collective reading, so I do speak in broad terms. You need to figure out if and where it fits in your life, if at all. If it doesn't fit, that's okay. Nothing's wrong or broken. You just might be working on something different at this time. It is originally created for Sunday the 4th of... no, not... Is it? Oh, this is the weekly. So this is for Sunday the 4th through Saturday the 10th of September. So if you're seeing it on a date different than this date, and it still makes sense to your situation or your life, then by all means, feel free to utilize it. Each card will represent for a day or two of the week. This is the underpinning energy of what's going on in the background throughout this week. And we end with a full moon, it looks like, in Pisces on the 10th. So, should be make for an interesting week. For those of you that are new, please check out the drop-down menu underneath any of my daily videos. In there is housekeeping rules, things I want you to think about when utilizing my readings. What decks I'm using, how to contact me on social media for a private reading, and easy ways to support the channel. Some of those ways are hit that thumbs up button if you enjoy the content, subscribe to the channel, share the channel out, and leave me a question or comment. Alright, so let's get into these cards and see what's going on this week. So for the beginning of the week, we have the Tower again. We saw the Tower last week, right? The Tower is about inevitable situations, moving or shifting, changing, falling apart, and then, potentially coming back together in a new, more foundationally secure way, right? The Tower oftentimes scares people, but it's not necessarily a scary card. It's about changing the things. It's about the things in our lives changing around us, whether we want them to or not. It's kind of an inevitable card, and oftentimes the pain that comes with the Tower is the fight that we put up, or the resistance that we put up against it. So if we have, and this is major arcana energy, so it should be rather significant, right? It should be a situation that's kind of right in our face. It's oftentimes outside of our control. And that lack of control can instill fear, discomfort, resistance to the situation changing. But Tower situations usually are things that need to change so that we can move forward. They're usually situations, relationships, environments that aren't built on a solid foundation, right? They're things that need to be either looked at or assessed. They're not necessarily things that we can change, but what we can do is we can ease into the change by allowing it to transform, by allowing it to crumble, by allowing it to take on a different shape, form, purpose in our life. And when we don't fight it, we actually get through it probably faster and with more ease and grace than we do if we're fighting it all the way along. Change is not necessarily a bad thing. And in the Tower's case, the change that comes with the Tower is change that's needed or required so that we can move forward. So we want to think about that if we are facing some sort of shift or evolution in our life. And evolution is a really good word for the Tower, because a lot of times people associate the Tower with destruction, which it is about that, but it is also about evolution and moving on to the peacefulness of the star, and then to other things, situations, people that are more suited to us, more foundationally secure, real, in alignment with who we are now rather than who we once were. Oftentimes Tower situations can represent, or Tower can represent situations that we stayed in far too long or held on to far too long, struggling to try and make them work, and it's just not possible. It's like we can't deny it any longer. It's sort of coming to an end. So this week, the beginning of this week should be, it doesn't surprise me that we're seeing this Tower, because I think that there's like 4 or 5 planets in retrograde. Mercury's about to go into retrograde. So all of that is about revisiting, reassessing, all the re's, right, with retrograde. So if we find ourselves looking at situations either from the past or situations that we've been dealing with and they've been sort of stuck, This tower is kind of the grease that like gets everything moving again, but we have to be willing to let it shift and change. We have to be willing to sort of step back, take a look, assess, and go, okay, so this is what's happening. How can I adapt and move through this with ease and grace rather than with, discomfort or resistance or fighting, right? Let's go to the midweek and see what the midweek is. Oh, wow. So the midweek is judgment. I believe both of these are associated with Scorpio energy too, if I'm not mistaken. Judgment is about answering the call. Again, it is major arcana, so it is higher, it is bigger energy, it is more important situations going on around us. Judgment to me is also about like sort of the transformation of taking something that's maybe challenging or scary, potentially frightening, and allowing ourselves to rise to the occasion, to show up in a way that is more empowered than maybe we otherwise knew. There's a spiritual aspect to the judgment card that speaks to the fact that we're supported even through the shifts and changes that are happening this week. So allow yourself to step up to the plate, to adapt to the change, to trust sort of what's being given to you or shown to you from a higher perspective. Does that make sense? Where we become more like viewing things through more spiritually centered eyes or a higher intelligence of our own, rather than looking at it through limiting beliefs or fear or criticism, ridicule, those sort of things. To me, judgment is about opening up to the transformation, settling into it, and then utilizing it to our advantage, right? And moving forward, understanding that there is something that, even in this evolution or this change, there's something higher, better, more purposeful happening for us. But we have to be brave enough, astute enough, and believe in ourselves enough to rise to the occasion, to meet that energy and change, and like sort of almost direct it or work within it so that we can transform it. Judgment is also very close to the end of the Fool's journey, and when we see the tower too, that signifies the ending of something going on around us. Oftentimes, like relationships are in our environment, and so judgment is about like holding tight to our truth, understanding, who we are and what we're capable of, what we, the power that we have, not only just like, physical, mental, emotional power, but also spiritual power, that we can answer in the face of adversity in a way that is evolved, intelligent, capable, and aligning ourselves with that, right? Owning that, really channeling that, and making that our truth in the midweek. Now let's look to the end of the week. Oh wow, Jesus. So we have the Hermit. So it's all major arcana this week, guys. So this is going to be, to me, this indicates a very significant week that's coming up. A significant week of transformation, self-realization, awareness, right? The Hermit is Virgo energy, which we are in Virgo season, so I'm not mad at seeing that. The Hermit to me is also about pulling inward. So after the disruption of the tower and after answering the call to judgment, showing up, maybe staring that disruption or that change straight in the face, and then, giving it our best version of ourselves to deal within it. The Hermit is about pulling inward, going inward and finding the answers from within, finding our own true light and our truth. Last week, this great grounding stone for the week was clarity. And so it looks to me like we might still be seeking some of that clarity, even in the midst of a difficult situation or a situation that requires us to transform, change, rise above, meet in a different way. The Hermit is about taking that time after the change or after meeting this situation head on and going inward, finding those answers within, having that sort of maybe spiritual awareness, discussion, connection with ourselves, and allowing that to be our guiding light, allowing that to be our strength, Virgo energy would be about earth and grounding in that, making that strength or that wisdom that comes from within our soul guide, or our soul viewpoint, even point of view, right? And utilizing that as our truth. We see the truth that shines in the light that carries him, that lights his way, and also the light of the star behind him. So we should, by the end of this week, at least feel a sense of strength, empowerment, truth within ourselves that we found through going through whatever this shift is. And each one of you will experience this shift, yes, in significant ways, but around different situations or scenarios in your life. You are empowered here. There is an opportunity here not only to grow and to evolve through a difficult situation or through a change, but also to learn something about oneself, to embrace maybe a deeper aspect of yourself, a deeper intelligence or awareness that's not only, it's very much spiritual in nature, and it's very much true to you and you alone. That would also be the singularity of the Hermit. Shutting out, other people's opinions of what you should do or shouldn't do would be key towards the end of the week. Listening and taking counsel only with yourself or with your own higher knowledge, your own wisdom within. That is also the Hermit's influence and energy. That things may slow down towards the end of the week, also with the Hermit being present, but take that slowing down or that pause to go inward and reflect, to find the answers that you need within. They are there. And they will guide you not only through this situation, but out of this situation in a way that's probably more grounded and powerful and aware than we were when we started it. Does that make sense? Now let's go to the Shamanic Medicine Oracle. Oh, it's that insects support. We saw this yesterday, right? And to me, this is about smaller things playing a bigger part. When I think about insects, they are oftentimes annoying and can be a real pain in the ass. And most people don't really like insects, but insects serve a very vital and important part in the natural world, scheme of things. And so when I see this idea of support too, it feels to me like it's spiritual support, especially with the Judgment card in the middle of the week and the Hermit at the end of the week. It's more like we might receive the spiritual support via Judgment in the middle of the week, and then adapt it and make it more real in our own and own it from within with the Hermit, if that makes sense. So I'm going to reread you insects support, and understand that you are supported through whatever transformations, both externally and certainly internally, that are happening for you this week. And I see a bit of both. Obviously, external would be the Tower, but then internal is that rising to the call of Judgment and then going inward with the Hermit. Now, I don't even need to open the book because it's already on insects from yesterday. All right. Insects comes to free you from feelings of entrapment and powerlessness. Okay, and that freeing would be the Tower falling apart, guys. This card indicates a lack of support from family and loved ones. Perhaps you feel as if nobody understands you or is even willing to try. You've experienced some type of upheaval, that's the Tower, and your loved ones may be geographically, spiritually, or emotionally distant. Insects has crawled by to help you to adapt to your environment. That adaptation there is probably the Judgment card, rising to that, and then finding those answers within with the Hermit. Insects will teach you how to proceed and how to be proactive. For insects, never let something like a natural disaster get in its way. That would be the Tower again. Call upon insects whenever you get discouraged. The unsinkable nature of creepy crawlies reminds us to keep moving forward no matter what. Insects brings you the medicine of tenacity, patience, and detachment. And that's what I'm saying about the Tower, guys, is if we detach and we allow things to change and shift and just adapt to them, we'll find that it actually works out in our favor. Although insects have a strong sense of teamwork and community, they also understand the importance of minding their own business. Don't let your light fade, the light of the Hermit. Don't let your light fade when your words are disrespected or your actions are mocked. What other people think is none of your concern. What other people think is none of your concern. It is your sacred journey that counts, and the Hermit is about a sacred journey to the answers within, guys. Insects is here to give you the support and encouragement you need to fly high all the way. Insects revealed. In Egypt, the humble fly was given a gold medal for bravery, and the scarab beetle was revered for its symbolic power of eternity. The Omphalos of Delphi in ancient Greece was a beehive-shaped stone thought to protect the temple. Native American dream catchers honor spider medicine as it weaves its web. Other divinatory meanings: you are protected, supported, and safe, even through the destruction and the transition of judgment and the destruction of the tower, guys. Go with the flow. Be careful not to let worries turn into negative affirmations. Say positive statements daily. Acknowledge your strengths so you can call upon them when needed. Teamwork brings about desired results. Insects speaks. Spiders, beetles, those who fly, upon you cast their beady eye. Escape from web in which you're caught. You have the insect's full support. So the web to me honestly would be the tower or the transformation of whatever's at hand here in the early part of the week, and being transformed and moved through it is the trust and the sort of intuition and grace that judgment offers us, and then that internal wisdom that the Hermit has. So finding that this week is going to be key, and then moving with that, growing that, honoring that, really listening and putting our attention on that is going to be key. Now let's look for the grounding stone. And the grounding stone is vision. So, what is it that we want, guys? What is our highest vision for where we could potentially be on the other side of whatever is transforming for us this week, right? What answers, or if this judgment card is calling us in the midweek to rise to a higher perspective, viewpoint, detach even, and come at things with more compassion, love, grace, all of that, and then to go inward. How does that look to you, right? What does that feel like? I feel like the idea here is to attach ourselves to the vision or the belief. And they said that in insects too, like to not get stuck in negative thinking, to not, to understand that you're supported, and to keep being like tenacious and move forward regardless of what's going on around you. So this vision to me is like, stay the path, keep your attention and your intentions on the goal. If the goal is to try and hold on to something that's no longer working or falling apart, I would release that, and that could be also the aspect of answering the call in the judgment card. And then finding that vision also sort of like internally within, even through meditation, contemplation, would be the Hermit's energy. And then keeping sight of that vision. The Hermit's lamp there, to me, is about allowing that the vision could be the light of the lamp, right? The truth of what it is we need, what it is we desire, what it is we hope for, holding on to that this week as we move through this week. And allow ourselves to understand that although things may not be exactly as we want them, they are, we can sort of evolve through these situations, continue to grow, and reach a higher sort of plateau or wisdom, and still maintain our attention on what it is we need or want, right? Or, the vision also could be something that we didn't otherwise see. So keep that in mind, because that could be also the wisdom that comes with the Hermit. So there could be a transformation in perspective, or a shift in goal or outcome that we experience even through that Tower card, that allows us to transform our vision and what we want and how we're going to get there, and then sort of successfully rely upon ourselves to take ourselves there. That is the forecast. I hope it makes sense. Should be a really powerful week. We have that full moon at the end of all of this, and in Pisces, which is opposite Virgo energy of the Hermit, so should be interesting. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Definitely leave me a comment, and I look forward to see you guys tomorrow to see how this progresses. Take care. Bye-bye.